Do you agree with the Saskatchewan government's decision to lift mask and physical distancing mandates at health authority facilities?
Absolutely.
Why?
Well, it's time. I mean, obviously the hospitals need to be able to make their own decisions, and the health authority needs to make their own decisions as to how best serve people that are there. And if they feel that it's no longer necessary, then who am I to judge?
I feel like I hope the health district is doing what's best for all, and I hope that people will still feel free to choose what they feel most comfortable with.
I don't necessarily like it. I think probably if you're going to keep it anywhere, hospitals would be the best place to do it. There's a lot of sick people in there and a lot of opportunity for airborne problems to spread from there. So I probably would rather have it in hospitals. It's not that much of a hardship to wear a mask in a hospital.
Not in hospitals, no, because if you're sick, then you're going to spread it to other people.
I think it's on the discretion of the person wearing the mask. I mean, people know what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and there's some good information and there's some bad information. So that's about the most intelligent answer I think I can give you.
No, it seems like wearing a mask is a fairly simple precaution to take. And it just needs to make sense. And where we have a lot of compromised people, that we would still be masking. I can't see that it's stopping people from visiting their relatives, the fact they have to wear a mask. Must get a little annoying for the healthcare workers, but some of them wear them all the time in the ORs and things. And, it seems like a very bad decision.
I don't agree with it, but it's nice to see people's faces again, make that personal connection, which does help with doctor and nurse patient care.
I think largely it's okay, but I think it's a little bit too early, especially for people in facilities. I have some relatives in one of these healthcare facilities, so maybe it should have been delayed a little bit. But I can understand the decision. There must be a lot of pressure.
No, I think in hospitals that I would consider that a confined space or a space where there's illness. So in order to protect yourself and the people who are already ill, I would say that in those places, yes, you should have your mask on.
I think there was a backlash when they had to wear masks, but I think they should look at the overall picture. If it's going to stop spreading any bacteria or disease, I think it would be a good idea if they wore a mask.
I mean, I don't think some people might not be feeling comfortable with that yet, so I think it really depends on the spread of it in the hospitals. But I think it's really a personal decision too. I think it's best to keep people safe and make people feel comfortable overall.
Absolutely not. I think it should be still not mandated necessarily, but really we should all be wearing masks still. It's endemic, so if you're inside, you should be wearing a mask.
Well, I would say healthcare settings should still have mask mandates. I still wear one when I go on the bus and it's packed, or in settings where I don't feel comfortable with in close proximity of a bunch of people. Been traumatized over the last few years, so.
At this point, I traveled here, and I noticed there were a lot of things that I thought during the pandemic would become standard practice, disinfecting surfaces after people were there. So I think it would be better if there was a streamlined practice for how people feel and maybe what's the healthiest way. Clearly, wearing a mask is going to keep people less exposed, but there's that argument side where if you don't get a little bit of exposure, how do you build immunity? So there's two pieces to this that are a bit troubling, but how I feel about it, I just found out, so I'm processing it. I'm uncertain right now. A little bit of good, a little bit of bad. I mean, everybody wants this to be over, and I'm sorry if I'm dragging this out, but at the same time, there was something to be learned from that whole thing.
I think that's a mistake. I'm a retired physician myself. I think that the threat of various respiratory viruses and so on has certainly been restrained by the use of masks. And when you think about people who are sitting in hospitals, often for long periods of time, with other people beside them, and you have no idea what kinds of illnesses they may be incubating. And you've got a whole lot of other people who are there at the hospital because they've got problems with their own chronic health conditions that make them very precarious. I think it's a very respectful thing to do, to provide people with that modest level of protection, because it is of some protection. I intend to continue to wear a mask when I'm on a plane. I don't care what the rules will be from here on in. That'll be because it's clearly I think makes a difference.
No, I still think if we're going to wear a mask, it would be probably the appropriate place to wear them, because I mean, there's so many things carried into hospitals and lurking. So I think we should maintain the mask in healthcare facilities for sure.
No, for the health facilities. So I will wear a mask if I'm in a crowded kind of area, but going into a hospital, you know there's lots of germs. So I think, yeah, we should.
I guess I do agree with it. I think it still should be a personal choice, of course, but I think to mandate it, I think, yeah, it's probably the right time to get rid of official mandates for things like that.
No, I don't, because the virus is still circulating around and it will be for a while. So no, I don't.
Depending on the circumstances, I guess, with the different, dynamics there. I'd be comfortable with it as long as the outbreak is somewhat contained and under control, moving forward, I guess.